Hey guys, welcome back to the Ilo Digwe football channel. Today I will be unboxing and overviewing what is, in my opinion, the cleanest release of the Nike Phantom 6 Elite that we've gotten to date, that being the Black Mamba edition. For those who don't know, this Phantom 6 release is a special edition that pays tribute to the late Kobe Bryant, former NBA All-Star and legend for the Los Angeles Lakers, by referencing his Mamba mentality, a belief system inspired by the Black Mamba of Africa. This mentality is attributed to being a major reason for the success in his career. I have here the low variant of the Black Mamba Phantom 6, but it does have a high variant. Both were available exclusively with the FG stud pattern. Originally released on December 15th, 2025, both variants bore a retail price of $385 Canadian, but at the time of this recording can only be obtained through the resale market. I was able to get this pair at launch, but unfortunately didn't have the time to do its dedicated unboxing and overview, hence this video months after its release. Before we get into the overview, please leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video, and if you are interested in seeing more football boot unboxings, reviews, and training sessions, then do be sure to click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new video. I have also put timestamps in the description linked to each section in the video, so feel free to use them for your viewing pleasure. With all that out of the way, let's take a closer look at the Black Mamba Phantom 6s. I feel like I can start off this colorway and aesthetics portion by saying this is easily the best looking Phantom 6 that we have received for this generation. I don't know how you look at any other colorway, and there are some pretty good ones to be fair, but I don't know how you look at any other colorway and then look at this and then not say this is top tier in the upper echelons as far as colorways go. As I mentioned before, the colorway is inspired by the Black Mamba of Africa, as well as featuring some odes to Kobe Bryant himself throughout the different graphical elements. So we're just going to go through that really quickly. Because as far as the colorway goes, it's really just like a yin-yang colorway with a nice black balance in the front and then I guess off-white or white in the back. And of course, a beautiful iridescent sole plate at the bottom to kind of tie things together. But in general, it's just such a phenomenal looking colorway. But again, I want to touch on some of those aspects about the Black Mamba that are featured so that you guys can get a sense of how they really tried to do some storytelling and integrate into the overall colorway. So starting with the grip knit, of course, you can see it's this very dark obsidian base with some black knit as well woven into it. This is supposed to represent the inside of a Black Mamba's mouth, which is really cool in my opinion. I've never even seen one, but apparently that's the whole case with that. And then you have the fly knit base, which in contrast looks like snakeskin, and that is really sick. I didn't even know that you could make a kind of texture like this using knit. Like this is out of this world, the kind of texture it has. And honestly, we'll talk about it in the tech area, but this feels pretty grippy too. It honestly feels kind of like the grip knit in a way. So that's pretty cool as well. When you look at the lace or the laces, you look at the ends of them, the aglets as these are called. I bet a bunch of you didn't even know that. These are actually fangs, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Again, a nice way to tie this back to Kobe, the whole Black Mamba thing and the whole snake imagery. The only thing I don't like is that when the laces are untied and you're trying to take them out, you can't because these aglets are so wide, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see that in the photos or in the video, but the aglets are so wide that when you try and pull them through, they get stuck. So you can't really take the laces out even if you wanted to. And that's already a difficult task as far as it is because the Phantom is just very difficult to take the laces out of to begin with. You look all over, you can see there's this metallic green kind of coating. This is supposed to represent venom, supposedly. And also you can see it has a snakeskin texture as well on the insides of the swooshes. Whereas you can also see Kobe's logo in that similar emblem green or emerald green here on the tongue area, and you can see it on the heel as well, which adds a nice pop of color to the overall look of the football boot. And of course, you got to look at that sole plate, which is genuinely beautiful. It has a snakeskin print underlay, which is then coated with this metallic, well, not metallic, I'd say it's matte iridescent oil slick finish. Just looks absolutely beautiful. Genuinely one of the most awe-striking and just eye-catching sole plates that I've ever seen. As far as chrome or iridescent sole plates in my collection go, this is up there with some of the best I've seen, like fresh out of the box, without a doubt. And also, you look here where the Cyclone 360 logo is, you can see Kobe's logo is also underlaid there, which is a nice subtle hint. And then finally, when you look at the insoles, They again have the snakeskin printing. On this right boot, you get Kobe's logo in black, and then on the left boot, you get Black Mamba. I'm trying to take it out so you guys can see it closer. Just bear with me for a moment. But yeah, you can see snakeskin printing, and it says Black Mamba in this stylized font, which is really, really cool. So overall, as far as colorways go, this is easily one of the best looking colorways. Not just from a look standpoint though, but from like an actual storytelling and creativity standpoint. This is out of this world. And again, I hope you guys can see why I am touting this as the best Phantom 6 colorway that we've gotten from this generation. Moving to the tech, I'm going to try and keep things brief here because I've already done two other unboxings of the Phantom 6, both in the low and the high variations. There might be some subtle differences here that I'll talk about with the knit when we get to it, but other than that, this boot is going to be the exact same as a regular release Phantom 6. So, starting with the upper, of course, it is a two-piece knit construction. You have grip knit here in the front and then regular fly knit here in the back. The knit itself is very soft and pliable. Since this is brand new, it's not moving as well as maybe my broken in pairs, but it is definitely very soft and pliable, molds to your foot very well. And despite being a two knit construction, it is super thin with a very barefoot feel on the ball, despite all the grip elements acting on it. So that's very nice. And it's also a very lightweight upper, which contributes to making the Phantom 6 feel super light when you have it on feet. Comfortable, light, close to the ball. What more could you ask for? It's a very good upper. And when you move to the grip elements or the grip that's provided by the grip elements, of course, you have grip knit doing the majority of the work here. Grip knit is just waxy fly knit, in my opinion. That's like how I like to describe it. But with this grip knit upper, what separates it from the previous two generations of grip knit is that you have a very even pattern of waxy grip and then gritty grip, thanks to these ridges that are engineered into the grip knit surface. And as such, like I said, you get that waxy grip contact when you're dribbling, but you also get some gritty grip to help break it up. And then also that allows for a more balanced experience, or it's balanced but nuanced. It's not like so straightforward, but it's also a lot easier to step into without worrying about maybe tripping over the ball or messing up skill moves because the ball is sticking to you. And then when we move to the heel, I mentioned that this has a kind of grippy texture to it. I want to take that back and say it's more of a gritty texture. But again, it helps to add even a little more grip to this specific model. So other Phantom 6s, they won't really have like this kind of texture on their fly knit bases. Because this is stylized to look like a snake, it does have that gritty texture just from the actual like scales, but then also the way the scales are done. They just have a very gritty texture to them. And I feel like if for some reason you have to make contact with the ball on this side, it's going to give you a slight extra amount of grip, which is, I guess, nice to have. But overall, don't really look at this for like a grip element. It's more of an aesthetic element, but it does have a small amount of grip benefit in that regard. But overall, it's a solid upper in terms of the grip that it provides. Best in class, honestly. The only thing that can really compete with it would be the Predator 26, I'd say. And even that is not nearly as grippy as what you have here. And then finally, finishing off with the lacing system, it is a dual lace hole setup. It might be hard to see here because of the off-white colors, but it is in fact a dual lace hole setup. It is also laterally biased because you want to clean up the striking surface here so that when you're shooting, you're making a clearer or cleaner contact with the ball. Also, some of the laces are covered by this lace shroud because of the way that the grip knit is constructed. It is a little annoying because dirt, turf, sand, water can get in here and it can be hard to get out. But also from the perspective of if your laces break, you won't be able to take them out without heavy difficulty due to how deep this shroud covers the laces. And also the fact that on this particular model, the aglets are very wide, so the laces don't come out anyways. But overall, all things considered, for what it's implemented to do in terms of cleaning up the striking surfaces and protecting the laces a bit, I think it does a very good job. I've definitely felt that my shots feel a little cleaner, a little purer when I use my Phantom models. So yeah, all things considered, the upper package on the Phantom 6 Elite, this is the low version, but even the high version, very solid as far as performance goes. Moving to the heel, you get a low cut construction here because this is the low variation, which extends from the fly net collar. It has a low enough ankle area to where your ankle is sitting just above, and it doesn't rub against the sides of your ankle, which is very nice. And then when you look at the heel construction, it is just an extension of that Flyknit. You also have the materials that you would traditionally put into a heel counter, but like all of Nike's models now, the upper portion is compressible to allow for more give and an easier time breaking in the heel area, while the lower portion features an internal plastic heel counter to support your heel when you are moving, changing direction, etc., etc. And when you look at the opening of the football boots, let me try and get the laces out of the way for once. You can see that on this Phantom 6 model, it looks a little narrower, but compared to other Phantom 6, and no, but that is compared to other Phantom 6 models, this is narrower. But in general, it is the widest heel area of all heels offered on Nike's top end models. And as such, you might have issues of heel slippage when you use this football boot. However, if you do the runner's loop, which is a little harder to do with a dual lace wholesaler football boot, I must admit, or if you wear grip socks or do both, then you should be able to alleviate that issue and have a good time with the heel area. And as far as comfort goes, it's one of the most comfortable heel areas out there. So despite the loss in lockdown, you're not compromising comfort, which is arguably the most important thing in my opinion, because I don't care how locked in a football boot feels. If it's not comfortable, I'm not going to enjoy it. So that's why I can honestly look past the heel on the Phantom 6 and view it as a net positive. And finally, we have the sole plate, which is, of course, your typical Phantom sole plate, just a long one piece plastic base. It has pretty good stiffness in the forefoot, so you get a decent amount of spring back. I'm not really trying to spring it back right now, but you can see I'm really having to put some force through it in that forefoot junction. And in the midfoot, it is on the more flexible side, but not too much to where it feels unstable or anything. You still get a good amount of stiffness from this little stiffener bar that runs through the center. And it's also not that flexible when you try and bend the midfoot downward. So it's a solid piece of plastic, all things considered, and it will provide you with a comfortable but decently responsive experience. Maybe not speed boot esque responsive, but still good enough to where you're feeling a good amount of, I guess, support underfoot. When you look at the stud pattern, again, if you've had a Phantom in the last 2 or 3 generations, you kind of know what to expect. The stud layout is more or less the same: 4 studs on the lateral side, 4 studs in the medial, one support stud or maybe two, and then your 4 studs in the heel. Obviously, this has the Nike Cyclone 360, which a lot of people hate. I was of the opinion that it was a terrible stud element, but honestly, I don't really care anymore, especially because these studs, these conical ones that are located directly behind, as well as the conical ones in the heel, do a decent job of providing you enough pivot power so that when you're trying to change direction or rotate in grass or turf, it's compensating for these blades. Now, when you're using the stud pattern on grass, you're getting a lot of bite from this forefoot area. So in that regard, it's very good. The grip on firm natural grass is very good. And then, of course, when you want to use this on artificial grass, which I wouldn't recommend, I would probably recommend using the AG version if it's available, but I wouldn't say that this is bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just in general, I'd always recommend using an AG pair of boots on an AG surface. But yeah, as far as just using it on AG goes, because I've had to do that a lot during the winter, to be honest, I'd say it's solid. Like I said, the conical studs do a good amount of pivoting for you, which helps to compensate slightly for the aggressiveness of these bladed studs here and these blade studs here. But overall, it's just a solid stud pattern. It's a jack of all trades. It's not going to give you the most aggressive traction for straight lines, but it's not going to provide you the most freedom to twist and pivot. It's just a balance of both worlds. And if you can live with that, then I think you'll like this sole plate. On AG, I didn't really have any problems, but of course, that's a risk you're taking. And like I've said in my other Phantom 6 unboxings, I would definitely recommend going for the AG variation if you have access to it. If you've seen my previous 2 unboxings of the Phantom 6 Elite, then you'll know just how highly I rate the silo. Starting with the fit, go true to size with this boot as the length is perfect. Width-wise, it's objectively the best fitting model in Nike's current Elite lineup for my foot shape, as my feet are flat and generally wide. This makes the Phantom 6's wide last very comfortable for me, and by extension, accommodatory for both narrow and medium foot shapes. There's also plenty of volume through the forefoot and midfoot, allowing my feet to feel snug but not squeezed. Despite the high volume, the upper doesn't feel sloppy thanks to the excellent zonal stretch of the grip knit and Flyknit. It's also remarkably soft and pliable straight out of the box, feeling like a high quality sock. As mentioned earlier, the upper package is very thin, which contributes to the extremely lightweight feel of the Phantom 6 on foot. Lockdown through the forefoot and midfoot is solid, but lacking in the heel due to its overall width. This issue presents in the form of vertical heel slippage, but like many other boots plagued with lockdown issues, this can be mitigated by using the runner's loop lacing technique, wearing grip socks, or doing both. Underfoot feels great, especially on the comfort front, as the plastic is on the more flexible side, thus making it less responsive but simultaneously more forgiving. With respect to the stud pattern, the Cyclone 360 stud arrangement is fine, providing exceptional traction for planting and straight line movements, while the conical studs provide a nice space for pivoting, thus increasing rotational flexibility. I'd consider the stud pattern relatively versatile, and while I prefer the AG Pro stud pattern to the FG one, you can definitely get away with using it on AG playing surfaces. Finishing on the colorway, this Black Mamba edition is easily the best one to come out to date. The contrast between the black forefoot and the off-white rear foot makes for an eye-catching design, which is only exacerbated by the snakeskin texturing on the flyknit base, the emerald green accents, and the beautiful iridescent snakeskin print graphic on the outsole. The boots are an absolute treat to look at, which is an added bonus considering how good of a performer the Phantom 6 is. So, in conclusion, the Nike Phantom 6 Elite Low FG is a very good football boot by any performance metric you try and put it up against. It is super comfortable, super lightweight, incredible touch on the ball, barefoot touch on the ball, best in class grip on the ball. And yes, while the sole plate isn't, the best by all standards, it's still something that's solid and will give you a lot of bite and traction for straight line movements, but also enough give and rotational flexibility for those changes of direction. So I'd say as a package, it's just very solid, very well done. And like I said in my on feet portion, if Nike's Mercurials didn't exist, if I wasn't such a Mercurial fanboy, I would absolutely use the Phantom 6 as my favorite football boot, especially because, like I said, this boot is more suited to wide footed players. So, for someone like me, this is honestly Nike's best silo. And when you have it in a colorway such as this Black Mamba edition, I mean, how can you not want to pick up a pair of these? They're just incredible performers. And with graphics like these, you're going to look good and you're going to play good. So, yeah, shout out to the Phantom 6. Definitely one of my favorite football boots on the market right now. Like I said in the intro, if you guys do enjoy the video, do be sure to leave a like. And of course, if you're interested in seeing more football boot unboxings, training sessions, and reviews, as well as other footy related content, then do be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon next to it to get notified whenever I post a new video. And do be sure, there's going to be a lot because, like I've said, I have a backlog of unboxings to get through. So there's just going to be a lot of football boot content on this channel for sure. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please stay tuned because I got plenty of good stuff coming. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone, and bye for now.